Okay, so I said it would take about an hour to do all the cleaning on this. It took me about an hour and a half, but I found some things that kind of needed the attention along the way, and really took my time to make sure that things were done right because I think it's been quite a while before this has had a really good clean out. Now, one of the first things you might notice is the headlights. They look quite a bit different after using the headlight restoration kit on it. They were fairly yellow and cloudy. And what I'm really trying to do here is create some contrast and make some of these plastics look new again, because that's not what people expect on a 19-year-old vehicle. So when headlights look like this and the plastics look like that, it tends to trick the buyer into thinking that they're looking at a much newer car or one that was really, really well kept. Not to say that this one wasn't well kept, but you know, it didn't look like a show truck by any means. So starting in the front, we talked about the headlights, the black plastic bumper and grille. I used some back to black on that just to shine it up and clean it a little bit more. As we go along to the side here, you'll notice that the wheels and tires are clean. The tires have tire shine on them as well. These tires, for some reason, had a really, really faded appearance to them that just looked dirty even after you sprayed them. I think it's because it's a little bit older and the rubber is just getting a bit more brittle, but really working some of the tire shine in the gel helps kind of fill those grooves, soften up the tire a little bit more, and give it that black appearance that looks a little bit newer. The tread life on them is pretty good, so I do want to highlight these tires as being matching, in good shape, and shining them up like that will really help the cause. Nothing too interesting as we go along the side here, just a little bit cleaner in general. The window, you may notice, is still looking kind of funky. The reason for that is that even though I parked it in the sun, gave it some time and kind of worked it with a credit card to push the bubbles out, the bubbles moved, but they wouldn't get past the edges of the tint. So I decided to leave that alone for the time being. The backside here just got some back to black on the bumper just to shine that up a bit. It looked a little bit more faded before that, but now it's kind of looking like that fresher plastic again. The bed here with the bed liner, there's a lot of debris in there. I went ahead and sprayed that out just so it looked as clean as it could be. And then kind of same thing on the side here. Nothing different other than the wheels and tires being a bit more clean and just a standard car wash. Just taking a look inside here. I talked in my last video that I was going to take off these seat covers and hopefully find some good quality charcoal cloth seats in here to showcase. What I did find under there was charcoal seats that were ripped at the seams and had some foam exposed. So naturally I decided to just clean these covers up a bit more and leave them because they are fitted for a Ranger, and I don't think that they have too bad of a look. Dash is wiped clean with some Armor All. Floor mats, pardon me here, I sprayed out and also put a little bit of Armor All on and just made sure that nooks and crannies in here were a bit cleaner than they were. Finished it off with Windex on the windows, and that's kind of that. These door mirrors also got some of the back to black put on it. Last thing I'm going to show you here before I talk about the next steps is just the brief work that I usually do under the hood. Now again, this truck didn't have any mechanical issues, so fortunately I didn't have to do any wrenching. I typically don't mind doing that on a car if I'm going to sell it, as long as it's kind of basic work, like tune-up type stuff, oil changes, little shade tree mechanic stuff I'm okay with doing, as long as there's a YouTube video for it. Under here, I just put a little bit of extra polish and cleaned off some of the dusty surfaces here. I didn't see any old oil or anything like that that needed to be scrubbed off, but just kind of some of these little details like this coolant tank, the washer fluid tank, plastic cladding. I like to get those just looking a little bit more clean under the hood so that a buyer can see that A, it's been well taken care of, And B, it's not just a total mess where you couldn't see if something was leaking or if something was wrong with it. This makes it a little bit more out in the open. And again, on this one, I wasn't able to notice any sort of leaks and I haven't observed any problems. So that makes that really easy. But I did this just so it would show well in a photo. Someone could see that there's a new battery in here. If you don't read the description, this is a big one here. The 4-liter single overhead cam motor is a big plus here. So now that the truck is clean, it's ready for photos, and then I will get an ad put up for this. And my guess is that it's going to be pretty quick that I'm going to start getting a lot of responses, especially since this thing is looking so good. For a $6,500 truck, I'd be pretty excited about this. So some of the things I'm going to showcase with the photos is I'm going to get about 8 photos from every direction. So one straight on at the front, then I'll move over to the corner like this, onto the side, then the rear quarter, and then so on until I get back to the front again. In addition to those, I'm going to take a picture of the tire and the tread on them. I'm going to take a picture of certain features like the 4-wheel drive selector on this for the same reason, just in case people aren't good about reading the description. A photo can kind of fill in the rest. I'm going to showcase that I have 3 original keys for this, and I also have the owner's manual along with it. So some of the touches that people aren't used to seeing with an older, cheaper vehicle, I'm going to show this off to, be as original and complete as possible so that a buyer doesn't really have any sort of reservations about coming to see this and most likely buying it as well. I tend to think that most buyers kind of convince themselves even before they show up. These days there's enough information, photos, descriptions, and all of that. I think that someone is going to look at this and go, you know what, this is a exceptionally well-kept truck. It looks the part, it drives the part, it's worth the money. And that's what I'm going for. I want my first buyer to show up, cash in hand, no reservations, ready to buy it at full price, because they're going to know that there's 5 other people behind them that are willing to do the same. So that's how I see it going. Time will tell. The next video will be about the photos in the ad, and then hopefully the sale as well. Bye for now.